Good afternoon, students. Today's topic is hereditary spherocytosis, and it is one of the cause of hemolytic anemia, and it is an autosomal dominant disorder, and it is and there is extravascular hemolysis as well as intravascular hemolysis. So, what happened here? We see this is the normal biconcave RBC, and in hereditary spherocytosis there is formation of spherocyte, and these spherocytes get hemolyzed inside the splenic macrophages. So this is the cause of hemolytic anemia. Now, if we look towards the genetic part of hereditary spherocytosis, so this is the red cell membrane skeleton. Okay, so what is the red cell membrane skeleton? Here, this is the lipid bilayer. Okay, so this is the outer speck of cell membrane of RBC. So lipid bilayer, and inside below the lipid bilayer there are cytoskeletal protein, and which is known as spectrin. And there are two chains of spectrin, alpha and beta chains of spectrin, and there is head region, there is tail region. There are some proteins which traverse through the lipid bilayer and connected to the spectrin. So band 3 is the transmembrane protein which is connected to the head region. Okay, and glycophorin A is another protein which connected to the tail region of the spectrin. Here you see. Okay, so band 3 and glycophorin A, these are ion channels which are connected to the spectrin. Okay, now if we look towards the band 3, band 3 is connected with the spectrin with the help of protein 4.2 and ankyrin. So these are the lateral connections, vertical connections. Okay, and the glycophorin A is connected to the spectrin with the help of, in the tail region, with the help of protein 4.1 and actin. So these are another vertical connections. So basically these are the proteins, and the deficiency of these proteins results in hereditary spherocytosis. Okay, so the most common protein is ankyrin, which leads to hereditary spherocytosis. So deficiency of ankyrin leads to hereditary spherocytosis, and there are gene mutations which causes deficiency in the encoding protein. So when there will be gene mutation particular to these proteins causes hereditary spherocytosis. The most common is ankyrin. After this is band 3. Okay, and band 3 is an ion channel. And 4.2 is the third most common causes, and it is rarely causes hereditary spherocytosis. Now, what are the pathogenesis of hereditary spherocytosis? Okay, we look towards the pathogenesis of hereditary spherocytosis. So this is healthy RBC, and the lifespan is 120 days. Now, this is a spherocyte which lifespan is 100 to 110 days. So we say the lifespan of RBC is reduced. Okay, and it is reduced from 120 days to 100 and 110 days. So it is reduced 10 to 20 days as compared to normal RBCs in hereditary spherocytosis. Okay, and the osmotic fragility is increased in hereditary spherocytosis. So when they go towards the spleen, sinusides they get traveled, and because of osmotic fragility they hemolyzed. This is normal RBC again, and this is spherocyte. You see there are round cells, okay, they get trapped here. Spherocytes get trapped, but the normal RBCs, they come out, and these spherocytes, these are engulfed by splenomegaly, causes hemolysis. So what are the clinical findings? First is jaundice. Hemolysis of any cause can cause jaundice. You have already seen jaundice is the constant feature of hemolysis, and there is splenomegaly and there are gallstones. So we repeat, clinical findings are jaundice, splenomegaly and gallstones. The most characteristic feature of hereditary spherocytosis is increase in MCHC, that is mean corpuscular hemoglobin concentration, is increased in hereditary spherocytosis due to dehydration caused by loss of potassium and water. Okay, so this is an important point you have to remember. So this is the only condition where MCHC is increased, and this increased MCHC is due to hereditary spherocytosis. If we again look to the pathogenesis of hereditary spherocytosis, there is a structural defect in RBC membrane. We have seen that there are some proteins, so there is a structural defect in RBC membrane. It causes reduced RBC deformability and formation of spherocytes. Okay, so this is an important point, how the spherocytes they are formed. Okay, so here what happened, as the cells they exposed to shearing stress, there the fragments of RBCs are lost. Some fragments of RBCs are lost, and this will lead to decrease in the cell surface area of RBCs as compared to cell volume. So cell volume is relatively increased, and the RBCs they attain smallest possible diameter for the volume, and they become spherocyte. So this is the cause of formation of spherocytes, and whenever there is the spherocytes form, there is reduced RBC deformability. Okay, and it causes normal RBCs to form spherocytes. So now we will see what is the, when there will be reduced RBC formality, when they get inside the splenic sinusites. Okay, there are interendothelial fenestrations, and these get trapped in the interendothelial fenestrations of splenic sinusites, where there are splenic macrophages. So these spherocytes they get phagocytosed by the splenic macrophages. Now splenic macrophages they phagocytose, and there will be splenomegaly. So this is healthy spleen and this is splenomegaly. Now increased phagocytosis causes extravascular hemolysis. So here it is extravascular hemolysis. This extravascular hemolysis causes anemia and increased reticulocytosis. Why increased reticulocytosis? Because when there will be anemia, the bone marrow these sends senescent and immature RBCs to the blood vessels. More and more immature RBC to the blood vessels. Now, why there is accumulation of lactic acid? Okay, when the spherocytes they get trapped in the splenic macrophages, there is lactic acid accumulation around the spherocytes. More and more lactic acid accumulation around the spherocytes, and this will cause inhibition of glycolysis in the RBCs and decrease ATP. Okay, and this leads to sodium potassium pump in cell membrane fails. Okay, now what happened? Increased sodium and water accumulation intracellularly, and this causes red cell develop abnormal shape. Okay, and there is increased phagocytosis by reticuloendothelial system. And this causes extravascular hemolysis and splenomegaly. And hemolysis causes anemia and increased reticulocytosis. So this is the flow chart of pathogenesis of hereditary spherocytosis, which you have to understand. And the important point, as you all know, the most characteristic feature is increase in the MCHC due to dehydration caused by loss of potassium and water. So this is all for hereditary spherocytosis. And here some one test which is known as Ping test, and this is done for osmotic fragility, to measure the osmotic fragility. Okay, so the spherocytes, basically this is normal RBC and these are the spherocytes. So basically the spherocytes, these are more osmotically fragile in hypotonic solution. So we put the RBCs in the hypotonic solution, so they are easily osmotic fragile and these get easily hemolyzed. So this is the principle of osmotic fragility test. So this finishes our hereditary spherocytosis part.